It begins, as all great dynasties do, with a family. A father who built an empire brick by brick. A son who walked away, leaving whispers in his wake. A daughter promised the keys to the kingdom. And a stranger, not by blood but bound by marriage, who would one day wear the crown. You think you've heard this story before. But this time it wasn't television. This time it was real. When HBO Succession premiered, audiences were hooked. Logan Roy, the ruthless patriarch, turning his children against each other in a chess game where the board was their father's empire. Kendall. Roman.
Shiv.
Each one flawed. Each one desperate to prove they were the rightful heir. And in the end, the crown slipped away from all of them, into the hands of an outsider. It felt like satire. It felt like a masterwork of fiction. But in another corner of the American corporate stage, life was preparing to follow the exact same script. Vince McMahon didn't just inherit a wrestling company. He tore down the old carnival-style wrestling circuit and built it into a global phenomenon. From the smoky arenas of the 1980s to stadiums packed with 90,000 roaring fans. The Rock, Hulk Hogan. Stone Cold Steve Austin. John Cena. These weren't just wrestlers, they were modern-day gladiators, cultural icons, household names. Pay-per-view after pay-per-view, WWE wasn't just a business. It was a religion. And at its center was the McMahon family. But behind the bright lights, the pyrotechnics, and the scripted feuds, the real drama was unfolding in boardrooms, not backstage. The McMahon children were being groomed for something far more ruthless than the squared circle. Stephanie McMahon was the golden child. Articulate, media-savvy, and fluent in the language of wrestling's unique blend of sport and spectacle. She had the respect of the locker room and the trust of the shareholders. Her brother Shane had been the daredevil heir, willing to leap from steel cages and crash through tables for the crowd's roar. But in 2010, he quietly walked away. No public fallout.
No ugly headlines.
Just gone. And then there was Paul Levesque. Fans knew him as Triple H, the Game, the King of Kings. In the ring, he was calculating, deliberate, always playing the long game. Off stage, he became something more, Vince's son-in-law. The man who married Stephanie and embedded himself in the family's inner circle. For years, the picture seemed clear. Stephanie would take the helm. Triple H would stand beside her. The next royal couple of sports entertainment. But empires have a way of rewriting their own succession plans. In 2023, the bombshell dropped. WWE was merging with UFC's parent company, Endeavor, in a $21 billion deal. The largest transaction in wrestling history. Vince McMahon, the king who once declared he'd never sell, was selling. And in the reshuffle that followed, Stephanie resigned. Shane was nowhere near the boardroom. And the man overseeing WWE's creative vision in the new TKO group? Triple H. The outsider who became family by some had now become king. It was an ending and a beginning straight out of Succession. In the show, Shiv Roy's husband claims the throne she believed was hers by birthright. In WWE, the scene unfolded in real life. A sidelined son, a daughter groomed for the top, a patriarch selling the kingdom, but keeping his shadow across the throne, and an in-law wearing the crown. But unlike TV, there was no season finale here. The cameras kept rolling. Triple H's leadership was put to the test immediately. Ratings, fan morale, and creative direction were all under the microscope. And in a twist worthy of WWE storytelling, the product thrived. The merger brought more exposure, bigger events, and cross-promotional opportunities never before imagined. WrestleMania 40 shattered records. International shows drew massive crowds in countries WWE had barely touched before. Yet for the McMahons, the family grip had shifted forever. The empire still bore their name, but the throne had a new occupant and a new script. And here's the irony. In professional wrestling, every feud, betrayal, and coronation is planned to the last detail. In the boardroom, there's no script. The drama is raw. The consequences are real. Succession wasn't just a TV show. For WWE, it was a prophecy. And like all great prophecies, it came true in ways no one could have scripted better. Stories like this remind us, power shifts, alliances crumble, and nothing in business or life is ever set in stone. If you enjoyed peeling back the curtain on this corporate drama, there's plenty more where this came from. Subscribe, hit the bell, and join me for the next untold story of money, power, and the people who play the game best.